Hello everyone, welcome to the official YouTube channel of Pathfinders Academy. I'm Mehul and continuing with our current affairs MCQ series for the upcoming CDS, AFCAT and ACIO examinations. This is the part 8, so let's begin. Before we go ahead, I would like to inform you all that we have launched a batch for the upcoming CAPF examination on an academy, and the name of the batch is Target CAPF 2021. In this batch, Dr. Prashant Jagtap, ex-assistant commandant of the CISF, Ms. Divya Gupta, ex-assistant commandant of the CRPF, Mr. Sanjay Kumar, ex-Indian Army and ex-Intelligence Bureau, along with their team, will be conducting live lectures. This batch was started on 1st of February and will go on until 31st of July 2021. And on using the code PrashantYT10, you guys can avail a special discount of 10%. So please hurry. Similarly, we have also launched a batch for the upcoming Intelligence Bureau ACIO examination, and the name of the batch is Mission IB ACIO 2021. And on using the code PrashantYT10, you can avail a special discount of 10%. Let's begin. The Eurasian Foundation organized the Indo-Russian Young Scholars International E-Conference 2020 recently. Where is the headquarters of Eurasian Foundation located? The answer is New Delhi. Eurasian Foundation organized the Indo-Russian Young Scholars International E-Conference 2020 on India-Russia domestic and bilateral development from 3rd September 2020 to 5th September 2020 over a virtual platform. 2020 marked the 20th anniversary of the Declaration of Strategic Partnership between India and Russia. It also marked the 75th anniversary of Victory Day of Russia. The headquarters of the Eurasian Foundation are located in New Delhi. Do not confuse it with Eurasia Foundation, which Eurasia Foundation's headquarters are based in Washington, D.C. Union Defense Minister Mr. Rajnath Singh has attended the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Defense Minister Meet held at which city? The answer is Moscow. The Union Minister for Defense Mr. Rajnath Singh paid a 3-day visit to Moscow, Russia on from September 3rd to 5th, 2020 to attend a meeting of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Defense Ministers and to hold talks with his Russian counterpart Sergei Shoigu on further boosting bilateral defense cooperation. The Shanghai Cooperation Organization's headquarters are based in Beijing, China. The member states of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization are China, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Russia, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, India and Pakistan. Indra Navy 20 is the military exercise between India and which country? Its 11th edition was recently held in the Bay of Bengal. The answer is Russia. The 11th edition of bilateral maritime exercise Indra Navy between Indian Navy and Russian Navy was conducted successfully from September 4th to 5th. The exercise was conducted in the Bay of Bengal, close to the strategic point of Strait of Malacca. Due to the pandemic, Indra Navy 20 was undertaken in a no contact at sea only format. India successfully tested hypersonic technology demonstrator vehicle, the HST-DV, using the indigenously developed scramjet propulsion system recently. Which organization developed the HST-DV? The answer is DRDO. Defense Research Development Organization successfully tested hypersonic technology demonstrator vehicle using the indigenously developed scramjet propulsion system in its second attempt. The technology will be very crucial as it will play an important role in developing hypersonic cruise missile systems being developed by DRDO. The HST-DV is designed to cruise at Mach 6 speed or 6 times the speed of sound, and the test was conducted from Dr. Abdul Kalam Island of the Odisha coast. India has joined the elite club of the United States, Russia, and China to develop and successfully test hypersonic technology. HSTDV has been developed by DRDO with help from the UK, Russia, and Israel. Name the Social Justice and Empowerment Minister who launched the Mental Health Rehabilitation Helpline named Kiran. The answer is Mr. Thawarchand Gehlot. In order to provide relief and support to persons with mental illness, Mr. Thawarchand Gehlot, Union Minister for Social Justice and Empowerment, has launched the 24 by 7 toll-free mental health rehabilitation helpline Kiran. The helpline has been developed by the Department of Empowerment of Persons and Disabilities, Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment. It was launched considering the increasing incidence of mental illness, particularly in the wake of COVID-19 pandemic. The Moon Mineralogy Mapper M3 is contributed by which space agency to India's first mission to the moon, Chandrayaan-1? The answer is National Aeronautics and Space Administration, NASA. New research paper titled Widespread Hematite at High Latitudes of the Moon, published on Science Advances, reviewed the data from the Moon Mineralogy Mapper instrument, the M3 of Chandrayaan-1 orbiter of Indian Space Research Organization, and found that hematite at the high latitudes of the moon. Shui Li from the University of Hawaii was the lead author of the research paper. M3 is a VNIR imaging spectrometer that collects reflectance data between 0.46 to 2.98 micrometers at spectral resolution of 20 to 40 micrometers and spatial resolution sampling of 140 to 280 meters per pixel in global mapping mode. It was built by the Jet Propulsion Laboratory at the NASA headquarters, Southern California. Who has won the 2020 Italian Grand Prix? The answer is Pierre Gasly. French driver Pierre Gasly won the Italian Grand Prix for his racing team Alpha Tauri. This was his maiden Formula One. This was the maiden Formula One win for both Pierre Gasly and his racing team Alpha Tauri. Lewis Hamilton was dominating the Grand Prix series until he was penalized. Kesavananda Bharati, who passed away recently, was a spiritual leader. Kesavananda Bharati Swamiji, a petitioner of the historic judgment of the Supreme Court on the fundamental rights case, passed away at the age of 80 in the Ednar Mutt, Kerala, due to cardiac and breathing problems. The scientists at Jawaharlal Nehru Tropical Botanical Garden and Research Institute has identified a new and rare species of climbers, Pothos boycinus, in Western Ghats. The JNTBJRI is located in which state? The answer is Kerala. Scientists of Jawaharlal Nehru Tropical Botanic Garden and Research Institute from Palod, Kerala, have identified a new and extremely rare climber named Pothos boycinus after Peter G. Boyce, expert on Aracaceae of Southeast Asia. The discovery of Pothos boycinus was done by Mr. G. Kumar, Naziruddin Ahmed, T. Shaju, and R. Prakash Kumar, director of JNTBGRI, was published in Taiwania International Journal of Biodiversity. The discovery was made during a floristic survey of the Western Ghats in the evergreen forests of Vallara Idukki at Kerala. Which country has recommended name Haishen for typhoon? The answer is China. Typhoon Haishen made landfall over southern Japan on September 6, 2020, becoming the country's second landfalling typhoon within a week. Japan's meteorological agency has referred to the tropical storm as large and very strong. The JMA numbers typhoons in Japan, and the first typhoon to occur after January 1st of the year is called Typhoon number 1. While in the US, hurricanes are referred to by English names, the intergovernmental organization called the Typhoon Committee, which includes Cambodia, China, Democratic People's Republic of Korea, Hong Kong, Japan, Laos, Macau, China, Malaysia, and the Philippines, Republic of Korea, Singapore, Thailand, Vietnam, and the United States of America, which has 14 members, including Japan, uses Asian names for typhoons that are contributed by the member countries. Haishen was the name recommended by China, and it means sea god in Chinese. The archaeological site at Sadikpur Sinoli of which state have been declared to be of national importance by Archaeological Survey of India? Sadikpur Sinoli is in Bagpat district. The answer is Uttar Pradesh. The archaeological site and remains at Sadikpur Sinoli in Uttar Pradesh's Bagpat district, where evidence of the existence of a warrior class around 2000 BCE was discovered in 2018, have been declared to be of national importance by the Archaeological Survey of India. Ministry of Tribal Affairs has partnered with which app to implement gamified learning app in tribal schools? The answer is STEP app. Edu is Fun Technologies Private Limited's STEP app, Student Talent Enhancement Program application, received an order from the Ministry of Tribal Affairs to implement its gamified learning and application in the tribal schools across India, and to benefit the tribal students and to empower them with quality education. Operation Greens is the scheme under which ministry? I'm sorry. Operation Greens is the scheme under which ministry? The answer is Ministry of Food Processing Industries. Government of India extended price stabilization interventions under Operation Greens scheme for majority of fruits and vegetables grown in Jammu and Kashmir to extend support to farmers in J&K. The initiative is aimed to support farmers of fruits and vegetables under Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan in order to prevent distress sales. Price stabilization interventions under Central Sector Scheme Operation Greens. It has been extended from tomato, onion, and potato to all notified fruits and vegetables for a period of 6 months on pilot basis. The Ministry of Food Processing Industries has launched the scheme Operation Greens. India's first integrated air ambulance service was launched in which city? The answer is Bengaluru. Kerala Chief Minister Mr. B.S. Yediyurappa launched the country's first integrated air ambulance service at Jakur Aerodrome, Bengaluru. It is the first air ambulance operating from South India to provide services for medical emergencies. Air ambulance firm International Critical Air Transfer Team ICAT will run the services in collaboration with aviation technology firm Kayathi from the HAL airport in Bengaluru. The Global Green Growth Institute has signed an agreement with International Solar Alliance for deploying 1 million solar irrigation pumps. The GGGI is based in which country? The answer is South Korea. An agreement was inked between International Solar Alliance and Seoul-based Global Green Growth Initiative, as a part of which ISA will provide technical assistance in deploying 1 million solar irrigation pumps. The assistance will first be extended to African countries like Uganda, Burkina Faso, Ethiopia, Senegal, Mozambique, Fiji, Vanuatu, Tonga, and Kiribati, and will later roll over to other ISA member nations. ISA also signed a partnership agreement with the Paris headquartered International Institute of Refrigeration for setting up solar heating and cooling demonstration projects in member countries. The first joint commission meeting between India and Angola held recently. What is the capital of Angola? The answer is Luanda. India-Angola Joint Commission held its first meeting through video conferencing. During the meeting, India and Angola agreed to expand their trade relations and also discussed cooperation in health, pharmaceuticals, defense, agriculture, food processing, digitization, and telecom. The session was co-chaired by Dr. Subramaniam Jaishankar, External Affairs Minister of India, and Ambassador Tete Antonio, Minister of External Relations of the Republic of Angola. There were three pacts signed between India and Angola. The pacts were: number one, MOU to cooperate in the field of health; number two, agreement to exempt visa for holders of diplomatic, official, and service passport; number three, MOU for cooperation between the Ministry of External Relations of Angola and Sushma Swaraj Institute of Foreign Service. The capital and currency of Angola are Luanda and Angolan Kwanza, respectively. The Light Utility Helicopter LUH, developed by which organization, has completed hot and high altitude trials in Himalayas recently? The answer is Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. Hindustan Aeronautics Limited indigenously developed light utility helicopter demonstrated high altitude capability in hot and high weather conditions in the Himalayas recently for about 10 days. A comprehensive test plan was executed at Leh at 3300 MAMSL in temperatures up to ISA plus 320C, which ISA stands for International Standard Atmosphere, which included envelope expansion, performance, and flying qualities. LUH took off from Leh and demonstrated its hot and high hover performance at Daulat Beg Oldi Advanced Landing Ground at 5,000 height above mean sea level. The helicopter also demonstrated its payload capability in Siachen Glacier high altitude. During the trials, pilots landed the helicopter at the highest helipads of Amar and Sonam in the Siachen Glacier. Matsya 6 is the autonomous underwater vehicle developed by students of which IIT? The answer is IIT Bombay. A robotic submarine, Matsya 6, designed by students of the Indian Institute of Technology Bombay, won the third position in presentation of the Global RoboSub competition held in California in August 2020. Matsya 6 is the latest in the series of autonomous underwater vehicles developed by students of IIT Bombay. Mundra Port Terminal is located in which state? The answer is Gujarat. A proposal to transfer partial ownership of a terminal at India's busiest Mundra port in Gujarat to a Chinese company is now under the scanner of Ministry of External Affairs and Ministry of Home Affairs after an agreement between the Adani Group's French joint venture partners CMA Terminals and China Merchant Group CMG, a Chinese state-owned enterprise. Petroleum and Explosives Safety Organization PESO functions under which ministry? The answer is Ministry of Commerce and Industry. Petroleum and Explosives Standard Petroleum and Explosives Safety Organization under the Ministry of Commerce and Industry completed 123 years of service on 9 September 2020. Which country has signed an agreement with India on reciprocal provision of supplies and services? The answer is Japan. India and Japan signed an agreement concerning reciprocal provision of supplies and services or acquisition and cross-servicing agreement AXA between the Armed Forces of India and the Self-Defense Forces of Japan. It establishes a framework for closer cooperation between the Armed Forces of India and Japan in bilateral training activities, United Nations peacekeeping operations, humanitarian international relief, and other mutually agreed activities. India, Australia, along with which country participated in the first trilateral dialogue on economic strategic challenges in Indo-Pacific region recently? The answer is France. The first trilateral dialogue between foreign secretaries from India, France, and Australia was held virtually to discuss geostrategic challenges, enhancing cooperation, and to build strong bilateral relations between the trio to ensure a peaceful, secure, prosperous, and rules-based Indo-Pacific region. The meeting was co-chaired by India's Foreign Secretary Harshvardhan Shringla, Secretary General of the Ministry of Europe and Foreign Affairs of France, Mr. Francois Delattre, Australian Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade Secretary Frances Adamson. World Health Organization has set a target to achieve a world free of industrially produced trans fats by which year? The answer is 2023. In accordance to the report titled Countdown to 2023, World Health Organization Report on Global Trans Fat Elimination 2020, released on September 8, 2020. So far, 58 countries have introduced laws to protect 3.2 billion people from the harmful substance by the end of 2021. Meanwhile, more than 100 countries still need to take actions to remove these harmful substances from their food supplies, including India, the country with most coronary heart disease deaths due to trans fats. To achieve a world free of industrially produced trans fats by 2023, World Health Organization recommended that countries should set mandatory limits for industrially produced trans fats to 2% of oils and fats in all foods, or the ban partially hydrogenated oils (PHO). World Health Organization recommends that trans fat intake be limited to less than 1% of total energy intake, which translates to less than 2.2 grams per day, with a 2000 calorie diet. According to World Wildlife Fund, WWF, Living Planet Report 2020, the global vertebrate population declined to average of dash between 1970 and 2016. The answer is 68%. In accordance to the World Wildlife Fund's Living Planet Report 2020, the global vertebrate population declined to an average of 68% between 1970 and 2016. The reasons behind this decline is changes in land and sea use, overexploitation of species, high pollution levels, climate change, habitat loss and degradation, including deforestation driven by humanity. Name the company which collaborated with NITI Aayog to launch She Codes Innovation Challenge. The answer is Dell Technologies. Dell Technologies, in association with Atal Innovation Mission, an initiative of government think tank NITI Aayog launched the She Codes Innovation Challenge, aimed to encourage girls to create, tinker, sustain, and innovate. Who is the Executive Director of United Nations Environment Program? The answer is Inger Anderson. As per the United in Science 2020 report, the second in a series highlighted that the world is nearing to pass the temperature limit set by global leaders 5 years ago and may exceed it in the next decade or so. In the next 5 years, the world has about a 1 in 4 chance to experience a year that is hot enough to keep the global temperatures at 2.7 degrees above the pre-industrial times. 1.5 degrees Celsius is the harsher of two limits set in 2015 by world leaders in Paris Climate Change Agreement. The report has been compiled by the World Meteorological Organization with input from Global Carbon Project, UNESCO, Intergovernmental Oceanographic Commission, Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, United Nations Environment Program, and the Met Office. UN Environment Program or United Nations Environment Program's Executive Director is Inger Anderson. Which bank has started a comprehensive banking program for startups named iStartup 2.0 recently? The answer is ICICI Bank. ICICI Bank launched its comprehensive banking program for the startups named iStartup 20, which will support the requirements of the startups like regulatory assistance, analytics, staffing, acquisition, and digital outreach of customers. Who has been appointed as the celebrity advocate of United Nations Children's Rights Campaign for Every Child? The answer is Ayushmann Khurrana. UNICEF has appointed Bollywood actor Mr. Ayushmann Khurrana for its celebrity advocate for Children's Rights Campaign for Every Child. He will work towards this initiative in India. He will support UNICEF to end violence against children, especially in the present situation of COVID-19, which is increasing the risk of violence and abuse against children due to the extended lockdown and the socio-economic impacts of the pandemic. It is to be noted that recently United Nations first International Day to Protect Education from Attack was observed on September 9, 2020 to raise awareness about the importance of safeguarding schools as places of protection and safety for educators and children. Which edition of Aero India-21 will be held at Yelahanka Air Force Station, Bengaluru, Karnataka between 3 and 7 February 2021? The answer is 13th edition. The 13th edition of Aero India 21 will be held at Yelahanka Air Force Base, Bengaluru, Karnataka from February 3rd to 7th. Defense Minister Shri Rajnath Singh launched the Aero India 2021 website at New Delhi, marking it open for space bookings. Where does the CSIR, Indian Institute of Toxicology Research, located? The answer is Lucknow. Recently, the National Green Tribunal has directed the Central Pollution Control Bureau to lay down guidelines pertaining to disposal of cigarette and BD butts within 3 months. NGT held that tobacco is undoubtedly harmful, and it is mainly concerned with the manner of disposal of cigarette and BD butts. A study conducted by the Lucknow-based CSIR, Indian Institute of Toxicology Research, approves the CPCB report and holds that the concentration of various parameters analyzed is lower than the prescribed limits will not be toxic. Where is the headquarters of Asian Development Bank located? The answer is Mandaluyong. The Asian Development Bank is a regional development bank established on 19th December 1966, which is headquartered in the city of Mandaluyong, Metro Manila, Philippines. What is the capital of Fiji? The capital of Fiji is Suva. The India UN Development Partnership Fund, managed by United Nations Office for South Cooperation, has pledged 1.8 million Fijian dollars, roughly about 6.5 Indian rupees, 6.5 crore Indian rupees, to support a new initiative to create a climate disaster risk financing platform for Fiji. The capital and currency of Fiji are Suva and Fijian dollar respectively. Name the Indian film which bagged Best Screenplay Award at the 77th Venice Film Festival 2020. The answer is The Disciple. Venice Film Festival 2020, the 77th Venice International Film Festival organized by Le Biennale di Venezia, was held from 2nd September to 12th September 2020. Marathi film The Disciple, directed by Chaitanya Tamhane and starring Aditya Modak, Arun Dravid, Sumitra Bhave and Kiran Yadnapavit, won the Best Screenplay Award at the festival. Which ministry has conducted orientation and training program on IRAD app? The answer is Ministry of Road Transport and Highways. Ministry of Road Transport and Highways conducted the 2 days orientation and training program on Integrated Road Accidents Database Project app for the selected districts of Karnataka, and on 10th and 11th September for some districts of Uttar Pradesh. This has been done to receive feedback and other suggestions for the customization of IRAD app as per the requirements of the states and union territories. Notably, India accounts for about 5 lakh road deaths per annum, in which 1.5 lakh people die and another 3 lakh become crippled. The basic IRAD app for capturing the spot accident data has been developed by IIT Madras and National Informatics Center Services Incorporated of New Delhi. This app will enable the stakeholders such as the police, transport, health, etc. to use their mobile phones to collect accident data on the spot. Who has won the US Open 2020, the 140th edition in women's singles category? The answer is Naomi Osaka. The 140th edition of American Open or the US Open took place at the USTA Billie Jean King National Tennis Center, New York, US, from August 31st to September 13, 2020. It was the second Grand Slam event of the year after Australian Open, which took place in January. Wimbledon was called off due to the pandemic. This is the list of US Open winners. In men's single, the winner was Dominic Thiem and the runner-up was Alexander Zverev. In women's singles category, the winner was Naomi Osaka and the runner-up was Victoria Azarenka. In the men's doubles category, Matej Pavic and Bruno Soares were the winners, and the runner-ups were Wesley Kulhoff and Nikola Mektic. In the women's doubles category, Laura Siegemund and Vera Zvonareva, and the runner-up were Nicole Melisher and Shu Yifan. Who has won the Tuscan Grand Prix 2020? The answer is Lewis Hamilton. Mercedes driver Lewis Hamilton won the Tuscan Grand Prix 2020 held at the Mugello Circuit, Italy. This is Hamilton's 90th pole position of his career. He is one win short for equaling Michael Schumacher's all-time record. Who authored the book titled End of an Era, India Exits Tibet? The answer is Claude RP. The book titled End of an Era, India Exits Tibet is authored by Claude RP. The book portrays India-Tibet relation during 1947 and 1962. The core of the book is about India losing all its influence in Tibet, helping China press aggressive claims along the border in India. It is based on Nehru Memorial Library papers, declassified Indian and Chinese documents, and personal interviews. This book is the fourth part of the series. What is the capital of Kyrgyzstan? The capital of Kyrgyzstan is Bishkek. On the sidelines of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization meeting, External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar met the Foreign Minister of Kyrgyzstan, Chingiz Ayderbekov, to discuss issues of bilateral and regional interest. Both nations agreed to further enhance strategic partnership in all spheres. The capital and currency of Kyrgyzstan are Bishkek and Kyrgyzstani Sum, respectively. The second Global Preparedness Monitoring Board report, titled A World in Disaster, was released recently. The GPMB is the joint arm of which organizations? The answer is World Bank and World Health Organization. In accordance with the second Global Preparedness Monitoring Board, the GPMB report, titled A World in Disaster, released on September 14, 2020, the world will take 500 years to spend on preparing for pandemics due to the loss driven by the novel coronavirus disease of COVID-19. The report called for responsible leadership, engaged citizenship, strong and agile systems for health security, sustained investment, and robust global governance for preparedness in order to prevent the next pandemic. The GPMB is the joint arm of the World Health Organization and the World Bank. Rajesh Kulhar has been appointed as the executive director of which organization? The answer is World Bank. The Appointments Committee of the Cabinet, headed by Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi, approved the appointment of Rajesh Kulhar, IAS of the Haryana Cadre 1988 batch, as the Executive Director of World Bank, and Mr. Samir Kumar Khare, also an IAS of the Assam Cadre 1989 batch, as the Executive Director of Asian Development Bank. Which group has launched 9 satellites belonging to Jilin-1 Gaofen 031 group recently? The answer is China. China successfully launched a solid propellant carrier rocket from a ship in the Yellow Sea, China. It sent 9 satellites into the planned orbit and is the second such sea-based launch mission. The 9 satellites belonging to the Jilin Gaofen 031 group were launched using Long March 11 HY2, China's first sea-launched rocket, the 10th member of the Long March 11 family. It was the 346th launch using the Long March rocket series. The satellites have been developed by Changguang Satellite Technology Company. Typhoon Satellite Launch Center conducted the mission. The 10th Defense Technology and Trade Initiative, the DTTI, was held between India and which country in September 2020? The answer is United States. 10th Defense Technology and Trade Initiative between India and United States was held virtually through a video conference. The aim of the DTTI group is to bring focus on bilateral defense trade relationship and to create opportunities for co-production and co-development of defense equipment. Yoshihide Suga has been appointed as the new Prime Minister of which country? The answer is Japan. Yoshihide Suga was formally elected as Japan's new Prime Minister. He has succeeded Mr. Shinzo Abe, who was Japan's longest serving Prime Minister and who stepped down due to health issues. The 71-year-old Yoshihide received 314 out of the 462 votes, in the 465-member House of Representatives and 142 votes in the 245-member House of Councillors. Yoshihide's party, Liberal Democratic Party, holds a majority in the Japan Parliament. Which company delivered the world's first LNG-powered very heavy container ship? The answer is Hyundai Samho Heavy Industry. South Korean shipbuilder Hyundai Samho Heavy Industries Company Limited said on September 14 that it has delivered the world's first very large container ship powered by liquefied natural gas or LNG to Singapore's Eastern Pacific Shipping Private Limited. With this, I would like to remind you all that we have launched a batch on Unacademy for the upcoming CAPF examination, which was started on 1st of February and will end on 31st of July. And on using the code PRASHANT2010, you guys can avail a special discount of 10%. Similarly, a batch has been launched for the upcoming IB examination. And again, on using the code PRASHANT2010, you can avail a special discount of 10%. Thank you.